about your family then. What was the dynamic like in that house?
It was really, really connected. We had this saying that it was us against the world. So no matter what happened, no matter, anything that came at us, we were always going to be 100% together. And my Nana lived with us for quite a long time. She's 92 now and one of the coolest ladies I could possibly hope to have in my life. And so she did a lot for my mom when we were growing up. Our dishes were done, the laundry was done, good meals every night. My mom was a full-time teacher and working really hard, and so it was really nice to have the whole family together and just looking after each other, a real sense of community.
And what did your dad do?
My dad was a lawyer. He is no longer with us. He passed away the day after my wedding, actually, in 2009. So that was a pivotal moment in my life, where I decided I didn't want to live my life for accolades and degrees, and that was my goal, was to go for my doctorate and be really prestigious. And then when he passed away, his last words to me were about my kindness, and that's what I decided my legacy was going to be.
What were you pursuing up until that point? When you say doctorate, what was your career ambition?
I wanted to be a forensic psychologist.
Oh, wow.
So I still do forensic work in psychology. I did my master's in counseling psychology, so I could do less research and more clinical work hands-on. So currently I'm the sexual assault trauma therapist at the Elizabeth Fry Society, and it's a dream come true. It really is an absolute perfect job for me.
That is a very emotional story. It's also an emotional career. That sounds like this is you then. This is this is how you are. You're a very involved person.
Yep, absolutely, and that's kind of where Mamas for Mamas came in, was just this desire inside of me that I've had ever since I was a little girl to somehow give back, to be the change we needed to see in the world. And my Nana ran an abandoned babies' home in Lagos, Nigeria during the 1970s, and I grew up listening to these stories about these children that she was able to save, and I thought, wow, how incredible. I mean, what a legacy to leave behind. So I thought, well, if I could do that for one child, I mean, my life would be complete. And through the 7,000 moms we support in Kelowna and work with in Kelowna, we've done it for dozens, maybe hundreds. So it really is just one of those things, you get to carry on that passion that your family shared with you, and you get to be part of something that feels really good.
How quickly did Mamas for Mamas develop into more than just you helping Tara?
It was kind of funny, actually. I started this Facebook group, and I called it Mamas for Mamas. And I told my Nana very first, and I said, hey, what do you think about this? We might be able to do something here. And she thought, oh my God, Shannon, that's amazing. What a great idea. So we started with 30 moms. I will always be grateful to the 30 of my mom friends on my own Facebook page who joined in and started donating and trading. It was slow for the first month or so, and then quickly we gained momentum, and it went from 30 members to 300 members to 3,000 members within 12 months. And now we've hit about the 2-year mark, and we're at 7,000 members and 22 satellite chapters across Canada.
When we talk about poverty and violence against women and education levels, it just seems so daunting. How do you motivate yourself? How do you keep going when you know that when you're trying to change the world, and I've seen that on your website, it's incredibly ambitious. How do you keep it all sort of in focus?
I think that focusing on the gratitude of the people that you've been able to help, and the gratitude that I personally feel for my ability to do this, I feel honored to be in this position. And there are many days where it is exhausting, and I am on my phone until midnight answering emails and trying to make sure that things are up to date and that everybody has what they need. But at the end of the day, I do have to look after my family as well. And so I really focus on that. I have my 2-year-old boy, I have my 5-year-old boy, and my 13-year-old goddaughter who lives with us part-time, and I focus on them. And I just remember that I'm doing this because I care, because I love to do it. And if it ever becomes a chore for me, I take a step back, I balance, I find some zen, and I come back at it with a fresh new kind of attitude. But I think really honing in on the gratitude that you get from the people that are being helped, it just fills your cup, And so I don't ever feel like I'm depleted, like I'm giving too much. I feel like, I give so much, and in return, I get so much warmth and respect and appreciation. And I get to see little kids who didn't have a good bed to sleep on have a good night's sleep. I get to hear those stories, and so for me, that fills me up. It pushes me every day.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that someone with as much ambition sometimes will always be planning. So do we have a future plan? Do you have something that you're have your eyes on?
Oh, yes. We never stop thinking. As the team says, don't tell me the sky's the limit when there's footprints on the moon. We plan to make some footprints on the moon pretty quick here. It's been a little bit of a secret so far, but we are looking to open the first universal childcare center in 2017. Daycare is a huge issue, especially for low-income moms. It actually costs them to go back to work often, and they end up having to choose between rent and groceries just because they wanted to go back to work and fulfill themselves on a different level. So we'd like to really try and implement the $15 a day childcare initiative, and we have some pretty amazing supporters from our mayor and our MLA, and everybody who's ever heard of the idea is jumping right on board. And we have some funding coming from the Kelowna Women in Business organization, and we hope to really make a big change for the mamas in this community who want to go back to work, or who want to go back to school, or who just need childcare and haven't been able to find it at a good rate. And the goal for that as well is to pay our early childhood educators a living wage, because currently most early childhood educators don't make enough to feed their own families and pay the rent. So it's kind of a cyclical issue that we want to address.